Welcome back. We are moving on to Module 2, Introduction to Ratios. What is a ratio? A ratio is an ordered pair of numbers which are not both zero. So, for instance, A to B is the order of the numbers. A is the first number and B is the second number. The little colon in between the A and B, we say a 2, T-O. So for instance, in our example up to the right with the books, we have 6 books to 1 student. An ordered pair means that the order is important. So with ratio language, there's multiple ways to write ratios. So the ratio of books to students, so we said there were 6 books and 1 student. So we can write it with words, with the word 2. The ratio of books to students with the colon is the same, 6 to 1. The ratio of books to students written as a fraction, the first number that it represents, which is books, would go on top, and the second, which is students, would go on the bottom. There are 6 books for every 1 student. With ratios, we have different types of ratios, so we're going to look at the part-to-part ratio. So for instance, blue parts to yellow parts. So if I count the cans over here, I have 3 blue to 2 yellow. Or I could write it 3 to 2 or 3/2. That is a part-to-part ratio. Yellow parts to blue parts, it's still a part-to-part ratio. Yellow parts, so we have to write the yellow first, to 3, 2 to 3. We can do it with a colon or as a fraction. Part to whole ratio is the part to the whole amount. So blue parts to total parts. So there are 3 blue parts and a total of 5. So 3 to 5. We could write that with a colon or as a fraction. Yellow parts to total parts. So there are 2 yellow parts to 5 total parts. Once again, with a colon where we say it as 2 or a fraction. A percent is a part to whole ratio where the whole is equal to 100. So percents are always out of 100. Percent is another name for hundredths. The percent symbol means per 100 or out of 100. So let's look at this. This is a 10 by 20 square. So there's 100 total. So we're going to write a ratio as a part to a whole and then as a percent. So there are 35 shaded blacks to 100 total blocks. We could also write that with the word 2 or as a fraction. Now, how do we write that as a percent? That would be 35% of the blocks are shaded. Okay, your turn. You try it.